Hello and welcome to this week's Cloud Gaming News Roundup. So not a huge amount in terms of games, but there's definitely some news around the different platforms out there. So let's kick it off with xCloud first. So the first bit of news here is that Microsoft and Valve have been working together to basically bring Game Pass across onto the Steam Deck. Now, it isn't natively running on the Steam Deck, it's basically shoehorning you into using xCloud, which is a good step in terms of getting just the general consumer who's picking up this type of device using cloud gaming. Now, we did a video not so long back actually about whether or not the Steam Deck was going to hurt cloud gaming, and in our opinion it's going to be a really nice hand-in-hand type device that would give people the ability to play cloud gaming, and it's nice to see that Microsoft are really stepping up to make sure that people are going to be able to do it on this handheld console. If you have a Steam Deck and you want to get xCloud up and running, there's a relatively lengthy tutorial up on the Microsoft website detailing how to do this and basically get it working with Steam on the Steam Deck. Definitely looks interesting and be nice to see how well they pull this off in the future and how well they integrate xCloud and everything else into things like the Steam Deck. Perhaps in a bigger news though with xCloud is they have finally brought across some very major improvements in terms of streaming quality across onto the iPhone and onto the iPad. Microsoft had touted the fact that they're now going to be able to reduce input latency and just latency lag in general, which is a massive win for this service. The one thing that's always let xCloud down has been that input latency. It just seems to be a little bit laggy and you can definitely see it. There's obviously some visual tearing and stuff like that, and it's nice to see that they're really working on it. Now, they are limited in the fact that Apple being Apple will not allow you to have an application on there for cloud gaming, but so people are limited to having to use the web app. However, others like Stadia have managed to get it pretty damned good, so it'd be nice to see Microsoft really taking advantage of this and making these major improvements. We'll be sure to check it out in the next couple of weeks as well, so stay tuned for that video, but it is nice to see and it is apparently a big improvement. Let us know, have you got an iPhone or an iPad that you've been using xCloud on? Have you checked out the new improvements and what are they like? Throw it down in the comments below just to let us know. Moving across onto Nvidia GeForce Now, and their GeForce Thursday was very much just talking about the service and advertising it as cloud gaming and all the reasons why you'd want to take advantage of GeForce Now. There wasn't much in terms of gaming or any new features or anything like that. But when it comes to new games coming across to this, we've got Dread Hunger coming up, which is basically a survival betrayal type game. So think Among Us, but with better graphics, and two people can become beasts and basically you're stuck in the Arctic, and it's got a really gruesome trailer, which I actually really enjoyed. Looked a ton of fun, so if you've got some friends that you really want to fall out with, it's probably worthwhile giving a go. The other games coming across onto Nvidia GeForce Now, we will throw them up on the screen. If any of those titles excite you, let us know why in the comments below and we'll have a look at them ourselves. And last but by no means least, we have Google Stadia, and there is a huge Ubisoft sale. Now, there's a lot of Stadia sales a lot of the time, so if you are looking at getting any of those Ubisoft titles, now is a good chance to jump in on those. However, in bigger news for Google Stadia, they had their developers conference and Google Stadia were featured in that, and there was some really nice to see things going on there. The first one is low change porting, and basically this is Google's way of making it even easier for developers to bring their games from another platform and move them across onto Google Stadia. Now, we've seen this in the past where Google have kind of come out and they've talked about the fact they're making it easier and making that back end much easier for developers to bring their stuff across to, but the proof is in the pudding this time, and we're actually starting to see some developers taking advantage of it. Google announced a number of different partner publishers that are going to be using this to get their games across onto the platform, so that is nice to see. And one of the big ones is the creators of Cities Skylines have apparently moved their game across onto Stadia using this low change porting method. So it is nice to see that people are taking interest in it. It's just whether or not that kind of comes out in the future as more games landing on the service. We're pretty sure that it will do, but again, who knows? Until we start to see those games actually available for sale, I'm just going to kind of keep my fingers crossed and not get too excited about it, but it's a nice step in the right direction. Another big announcement that Google had for Google Stadia is the fact that developers and publishers are going to be able to offer up their games without having people log into the Stadia platform. So they'll be able to go onto it and start streaming those games if they have a demo or a trial available and just do it. So it removes that friction completely from the service. So someone who wants to try out a game on the cloud gaming platform, they'll just be able to do it without having to log in and get password and sign up. And that's a big step. At the end of the day, consumers want the easiest way to access something, and then they get hooked, and then hopefully they'll buy into the Google Stadia platform. So another step in the right direction. Honestly, it's nice to see that they're still working on some relatively big things there in terms of making it easier for developers to get on board, giving them more tools to get their consumers hooked, and there's a lot more things as well that were announced to that. We'll do a deeper dive on that in the future. So it is nice to see that Google are definitely making steps in the right direction. So that's it from this week's Cloud Gaming Roundup. Let us know what you're most excited about. For us personally, it's definitely the Google Stadia stuff there. It's really nice to see that they're still really hammering home. The service hasn't been killed off like a lot of people keep saying it's going to, and it's getting more quality of life improvements for both developers and consumers. Hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, hit the like and subscribe button. Come along for some more cloud gaming content, and we'll see you soon. Bye.